Good morning. Welcome to our third video installment for N301 for the spring '08 semester. My apologies for you getting this video today. As I shared with you in my email last night, we actually shot this video on Saturday, and then through technical difficulties we lost the video, so we're reshooting this morning, and hopefully this will be useful information as you prepare your journals to submit tomorrow night. You all know at this point that I had the opportunity to grade your journals on Sunday. I have provided you all written feedback on your journals. I'm pleased to say that the large majority of you did very good work. Many of you are gifted writers, thoughtful thinkers, and I think took this short 1.5 page reading combined with the other paper for this week and began to really understand what this notion of population health is. I'd like to make a couple of kind of general comments about the journals. The syllabus does in fact say that everything should be done in APA style. That exists because at one point in time we used to have several papers that you wrote in this course. I see these journals as really learning aids for you, and I see them as informative for me about what you're learning. So I'm not a stickler on APA style for your journals. If you're citing people or using reference lists on your journals, absolutely that needs to be APA style. But when you identify the 5 key points that you want to remember from the reading, if you want to do bullet points, if you just want to write a couple of sentences, that's fine, but they do not have to be double spaced. So when you evaluate your journal and the need to keep it at a 2-page limit, please feel free to single space as necessary to get the content that you wish to remember, the ideas that you wish to convey, and the notion of how you're going to use this work in your practice on those 2 pages. The other thing I'd like to say is that several of you referenced the MockDad paper in your journal, and MockDad was one of the references in your immediate versus important reading last week. I do want to say that if you choose to do it that way, you would have actually need to have read the original MockDad paper. Some of you may have done that, and that's fine. Others, if you didn't do that, you simply could have just listed the key points you wanted to remember without referencing MockDad. That is appropriate in this type of assignment. That would not work for a formal paper that you may submit in another course. So we had last week to explore a little bit about why we should study population health. This week we're going to look at some definitions of population health and discuss some preventive approaches to population health. Again, the readings are not incredibly long, but these first couple of weeks really lay the foundation for the work that we're going to do. So I do stress that you take the time to read, synthesize, and consider the content. I would like to share with you some of the things that I found particularly interesting in journals that were submitted last week. There was one student who wrote 3 incredibly reflective questions, and I wanted to share those with you. The questions are as follows. How does an individual's value system affect what is considered immediate versus important? How might your perspective change depending on your role, e.g. the patient, the payer, the physician, or the administrator? The second question, this article focuses on mortality rates. In addition to mortality, I am interested in the impact of preventive programs on healthcare costs. Even though preventive medicine may mean fewer services provided, in the long run, will it produce healthier finances for hospitals, and why? And then the third question from this journal, is there a correlation between being uninsured and unhealthy behaviors that lead to chronic diseases? And the related question, how might hopelessness impact the prevalence of unhealthy behaviors? I found those 3 questions that the student posed amazingly insightful, and those are the kind of questions that I'm looking for in your journals each week. Again, you're only required to write 1, but this student wrote 3, and I wanted to share them with you. Secondly, there was a student who shared this in section 3 of their journal, and I wanted to share that as well. I was particularly interested to learn from the readings in week 1 that population health does not improve immediately with population wealth, and life expectancy of people in urban areas during the Industrial Revolution was very low. Hippocrates in my reading is described as the father of epidemiology. I can't help but wonder if he could have made the connection between gout-like symptoms of lead poisoning With the abundant lead in the Roman cooking utensils and water pipes, could he have prevented the fall of Rome? Likewise, are we as a nation doing enough research and study to prevent our own demise? Are we making all the necessary connections? I found those comments by the student in section 3 of the journal amazingly insightful, and wanted to share that as well as the questions from the previous student's journal. This is week 3. You have an assignment due tomorrow night at midnight. If you have questions or there are ways that I can help you, please don't hesitate to call me. On some of your journals, I have written some comments. I've asked some questions. I don't expect you to answer those questions for me. I expect you to answer them for yourself. I think we're off to a great start. And again, I hope the readings have been beneficial this week. And again, they are laying the foundation for the important work we're going to do this semester. My best, and I look forward to your journals tomorrow night. Thanks.